Yes, please.
Okay. Dear members, good evening. Welcome to today's BBF interactive session on Demat, Debit and Pledge Instruction, the Ddpi, with theme CDSL. The aim of the session is to provide opportunities to members for them to ask questions and clarify their doubts related to operationals and compliance requirements around Ddpi. We are thankful to Team CDSL, Mr. Nilesh Shah, Mr. Prashant Kokate from the operations team for the valuable time towards the same. On that note, I would give over to Nilesh ji to begin the presentation, followed by Q&A. Nilesh ji, over to you, please.
Thank you, SP. So today's session is on Demat, Debit and Pledge Instruction. Shortly, we are calling as a Ddpi. Like power of attorney, we are calling as a POA. Same way here, we will use the word Ddpi for our easy understanding. So the purpose of Ddpi is basically to substitute the power of attorney. So currently, whatever power of attorney functions are being done, to substitute that, this Ddpi has been introduced. This Ddpi is limited for the settlement and margin pledge transactions only. So whatever pain related transactions for which power of attorney being used and margin pledge related transactions which are for which power of attorney is used. So that can be done through authorizing Ddpi. This Ddpi will significantly mitigate the misuse of power of attorney. That is one of the purpose that somewhere it has been found that power of attorney has been misutilized. So here, since it will be limited for settlement and margin pledge transactions, this misuse can be mitigated. And power of attorney for existing client is valid till it is revoked by the client. So whatever accounts are there up to 30th June 2022, and if they have given a power of attorney, then it is valid till they have revoked. So there are some reference to this Ddpi where SEBI circulars have been issued, and basis on that, this Ddpi has been formed. So one is a circular was issued in 23rd April 2010. That was mainly related to power of attorney to stockbroker or stockbroker and DP. After that, certain clarifications were provided on 31st August 2010 for the circular which they have issued in April 2010. Thereafter, on 27th August 2020, again POA guidelines which were formed in 2010, those were reiterated. In August 2011, it has been informed that this power of attorney is a valid document and it is not a mandatory document for any trading or Demat accounts. And on 25th February 2020 and July 21, this power of attorney has been mentioned as a part of account opening. There they have mentioned that this is for Ddpi, so will be also there. And POA word can be replaced with or without Ddpi. Okay, now we will go to what are the requirements for Ddpi and what is the applicability of Ddpi in our trading and Demat transactions. So like power of attorney, this Ddpi should be also adequately stamped or franking is required, whatever we are currently using for power of attorney. The similar type of stamping will be required for Ddpi also. Then digital and Esign or wet signatures will be allowed in Ddpi. So earlier in power of attorney, only wet signatures were allowed, while here digital or e-signatures are also allowed from the beneficial owners. Ddpi is also a voluntary document only. So if client wish to give, then he will be authorizing through Ddpi. If he doesn't wish to give Ddpi, then also we have to use open their trading or Demat account. CM number, clearing member number to be mentioned with CM ID and pool or settlement account details. Like in power of attorney, currently we are mentioning that details of accounts where this power of attorney will be utilized. So similar way for Ddpi also it has to be mentioned while client is authorizing this Ddpi. And CM to sign the document in CM a similar manner how they are using for power of attorney. Physical and EDIS are alternate options, and those are always available with the client. So if any client doesn't want to give power of attorney or Ddpi, then also his account will open and he can transact through giving a physical delivery instruction slip, or alternative option EDIS is available. So those will continue. And margin pledge transactions can be performed through Ddpi. Settlement paying transactions through TM or to TM or CM pool accounts only. So now for any other type of accounts, this Ddpi will not be used. Only from client's beneficial owner account to TM or CM pool account. For those only Ddpi will be used. While using the Ddpi, we have to exchange and depository will exchange the obligation file, and on matching of those records with UCC and BOID, then only these transactions will be executed. And those files will be mainly provided by clearing corporation or clearing house. This Ddpi is not applicable for certain type of transactions. Those are like mutual fund or public issues, shares and debentures, or rights, or offer of shares, or tendering in offer, open offers, and all other fund related transactions. So for those Ddpi, basis on the Ddpi, transactions cannot be performed. Ddpi will be applicable from 1st July 2022 for all new and existing BOIDs, subject to being authorized by the client. And in existing BOIDs, if they have currently already provided power of attorney, then those will continue till they are revoking it. Now here we will just match the difference between power of attorney and Ddpi. So in power of attorney, only wet signatures were allowed. In Ddpi, digital or e-signatures are also allowed. So apart from wet signature, client can use his digital or e-signatures also. In power of attorney, whatever transaction types are defined in power of attorney, those can be performed and transactions can be executed on that power of attorney basis. In Ddpi, only margin pledge or settlement paying related transactions can be only done. So other type of transactions are not allowed over here. In power of attorney, mutual fund, public issue, rights, offers, open offers, then primary or secondary market related fund transactions, those were also being performed. While here in Ddpi, those all type of transactions are not allowed. So only whatever transactions are done on exchange platform and their settlements are there. Plus for that, if require any margin, then only this Ddpi can be used. In power of attorney, certain type of transactions, settlement obligations were not matched by between exchange and depositories. But here, since in Ddpi, all the settlement related transactions are only allowed, it is mandatory to match with the settlement obligations provided by CC. This power of attorney will be applicable for the transactions mentioned in point number 3, that is mutual fund, public issue offer, open offer, tender offer, or fund related transactions. So that power of attorney will be applicable over there. But here in Ddpi, only settlement or margin plate transactions and account opened with any date, means suppose a client has signed a opened account today, and after that he is giving a Ddpi, then also he will be allowed to perform the transactions pertaining to settlement and margin pledge. So this is the main difference between power of attorney and Ddpi. Okay, that's all about the presentation, because remaining points are already cleared in this circular also, and we will go with the queries.
Okay, Nilesh Bhai. Thank you very much for this presentation. Members, as always, we request you to raise your virtual hand, and we'll take you one by one and inside, and you can ask your questions. Nilesh Bhai, to begin with.
Yes.
Can we, the question is, can we get Ddpi form signed from client before due date 1st July 2022? And is there any impact on Esign date?
It can be signed. Only the requirement is that on Ddpi form which client has signed, there it has to be clearly mentioned that this Ddpi will be applicable from 1st July. So suppose example, today if client is signing Ddpi, then in that Ddpi form it should be mentioned that this will be applicable from 1st July. Yes, he can sign digitally today and he can submit to the DP or broker also. But okay, applicability will be 1st July.
Okay. Libuji, you can ask your question, please. Radhakrishnan ji, you can unmute yourself and ask question.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I have two questions in fact. So one is pertaining to stamping. So for stamping, can we follow the state rules for stamping the Ddpi?
Yes, same rule like what we are following for power of attorney, where stamp-wise stamp duty, state-wise stamp duty rates were applicable. Similarly, will be applicable for Ddpi also.
But for Ddpi, I am not very sure any state has a specific rule or stamp act mentioning the Ddpi, because the template itself is very precise in nature. So whether my second question is towards that, whether this Ddpi template is predefined or whether a broker can modify the template.
See, we will be providing you basic template. Like in if you have gone through circular, then in annexure A, they have already provided 2 point.
Yes.
So basis on that, we will be providing a basic template. And after that, if you want to add anything, you can add it. But yes, whatever, as per point number 10 of the circular, whatever. Yes, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I am able to. I am. Yes, I am.
Okay. So whatever points were mentioned in earlier circulars, those are applicable for Ddpi also. So for example, if you have to mention Demat accounts, CM pool account or TM pool accounts, where client's account, you will be debiting a BO account and you will be crediting to CM pool or TM pool account.
I got it. So can I precisely take in this way? So I can broadly follow the template which is given in the service circular, and I can accordingly modify the template with all the TM pool account and all the accounts, and also can
Yes.
capture the client details in the DDP, right?
Yes, so that those will be additional.
Those will be additional because the template
Correct.
is very precise in nature. So in order
Correct.
to make it as a binding document, I need to make changes in this template accordingly by capturing the client details and the pool account details. So can I do that?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
that can be.
okay.
Only against 2 points signatures has to be obtained. So those you need.
I understood. That I understood. Thank you.
Jatinji, your question, please. Jatin Cheta, your question. Anuradhaji, question, please. Aniruddhaji, question. Your play.
Hello.
Haji, please.
Hi. So in the annexure, there were two columns, right? One for securities and one for pledging. So will we have to ask the client to choose any one, or mandatorily during the stamping we'll have to obtain signatures on both columns?
See, ideally you should take the signature on both the columns. But if any client is not ready, then you have to tell that for which option he would like to give. But ideally it should be for both the options, margin pledge as well as settlement related transactions, because then only he will be able to perform the transactions in this one exchange.
Rajiv ji, your question.
Thank you.
Rajiv ji, your question, please. Rajiv Kejriwal ji.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
So my question was, we are a bank-based broker, SBI Cap Securities. So we take the POA for the banking transactions as well as depository transactions for the pay-in payout purpose. So then post-implementation, we have to execute both POA and Ddpi together, or how it will be?
See, in Ddpi, only two type of transactions will be allowed through Demat account, and those will be for margin pledge as well as settlement of securities. So if for funds related transactions you require, then you have to execute power of attorney as well as Ddpi. But on power of attorney basis, you can perform the other transactions which are not a part of Ddpi.
Got it, sir. Okay.
Manish ji, your question, please.
Yeah. One question was that whether I can continue with the POA post 1st July. Is it mandatory that we will have to give an option only for Ddpi? We cannot give an option for POA.
You have for these two type of transactions, you have to mandatorily use Ddpi. For other type of transaction, if any, then you have to use power of attorney. Like in earlier query, we have already clarified it that both needs to be.
So Lily ji, in that case, how Rajiv was asking you, similarly would be the case where there would be mutual fund redemptions. We are using the power of attorney for mutual fund redemption, where it doesn't go to the pool account, but it go directly to the exchange account, buyback, delisting of shares. So here, then we will have to take POA also in those cases. Then
you are correct.
And okay, will there be changes in the batch file format for pay-in then in that case?
That we are under discussion with our technology and vendor team. So once it is finalized, we will provide you a revised file format, if any, and whatever changes we are implementing.
Similar would be the case for account opening and CMC also, correct?
Yes.
For batch file format?
Correct.
And one more thing, today we are using a EDS facility also. So
yes.
That can a client offer EDS and Ddpi both, or mandatory? If he has chosen Ddpi, then he will have to forego the EDS.
He can use both.
He can use both, but POA and POA and Ddpi he cannot use both, because for other transactions,
for these two type of these two type of transactions he can't use both. For these two type of transactions, after 1st July, whatever accounts are opened, those should be mandatorily with Ddpi.
But he can use EDIs also for paying then in that.
Yes,
case, no, sir?
that is correct. EDI
That
is
is allowed.
Yeah.
So then unnecessary there will be a burden for POA and DDPI. Okay, sir. Thank you.
We can
Question from NJ team. NJ. Priyaji, your question, please.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Continuing the same question again, I am saying the POA that is applicable from 1st July only for the transaction other than those settlement and pledge thing. So we need to mandatory take POA and DDPI both the things from 1st July, correct? POA for other transactions and DDPI for only those two things.
Yes. So if any client want to perform only these two type of transaction, then you can take only Ddpi. If you want to perform other type of transaction like mutual fund or open offer,
means that we have to give options to them. That is
yes.
We need to
And
give
this
option
both-
of both the things, correct?
Correct.
And for existing clients, those are having POA and other transactions.
So for existing client, whatever are opened up to 30th June, and if they have given a power of attorney, then it will continue on that basis.
Okay. But still for existing client also DDPI needs to be executed for those two things, margin pledge and settlement.
That if client wish to give, he can give. Otherwise, it is not a mandatory.
The DDPI is not mandatory for the existing clients, then how they will perform those two things, margin pledge and settlement? Because currently PO is covering everything, right? That is replacing now DDPI.
Till revocation, it can be continued. So let's say if client has opened the account today, okay, and he has given a power of attorney, then you can continue the transactions basis on POA. Let us say on 11th of August, client has provided you DDPI. Then on the basis of DDPI, those transactions will be performed. So currently for existing accounts, it won't be mandatory.
Okay, so for new account, it is mandatory. Existing account, till it is revoked, we can continue for everything. Correct. Yes. Only thing is we have to give option to them, informing them that this option is also available now.
Correct. And after 1st July, if you are performing any settlement and margin pledge related transactions, then those will be basis on DDPI only. If any account is opened after 1st July.
Correct. That is for new accounts. I am saying existing accounts are doing those. So those transactions they can do through POA till it is revoked. Correct? Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Buyback can be applied through DDPI.
Pardon?
Buyback can be applied through DDPI.
No.
Mehulji, your question, please.
Hello.
Yes.
For new account, it is compulsory, or we can take the power of attorney?
For new account, if settlement or margin pledge related transactions needs to be performed for the accounts opened after 1st July, then it will be mandatory. Mandatory means if client is ready to give.
That's why.
Then for those, so let us say one account is opened on 7th of July, and he has given only power of attorney.
Yeah, okay.
Then on that basis, you won't be able to execute margin pledge or settlement pain related transactions.
Why then? I have the in margin pledge. I have the details of that annexure.
Correct, but that's what SEBI has clarified in their circular. That's what.
In that case, अगर मुझे फिर अगर म्यूचुअल फंड पे इन करना है तो उसके लिए पावर ऑफ अटर्नी रहेगा, और मार्केट रिलेटेड ट्रेड करना है तो मुझे डीडीपी, तो मुझे दोनों चीज लेना है, मतलब ये हो गया आपसे, आपका कहने का मतलब?
Yes.
The why two things are then. तो मुझे क्लाइंट से अगर वो जो पहले काम 500 रुपये में हो रहा था, अभी उसके लिए उसको 1000 रुपये पेड करना पड़ेगा मुझे.
Yes. So, but that is what SEBI has clarified in their circular.
SEBI has उन्होंने ऐसा क्लेरिफिकेशन नहीं डाला कि आप पावर ऑफ अटर्नी के थ्रू पे इन नहीं कर सकते हो. वहां पे वो तो किधर भी नहीं लिखा हुआ है सर.
You can refer the point number 4 of the circular, where they have mentioned that with the implementation of this circular, POA shall no longer be executed for the conditions specified in paragraph 1.2.1 and 1.2.2.
Then how the two tagging will be there in UCC and DP trading account? DDPI for pay-in and mutual fund के लिए POA. वो तो DP में tagging दोनों allowed है फिर?
Yes, so that we will inform you through other circular that whatever the file formats changes and operational modalities will be there.
When I can continue with my questions, right?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yes. So I wanted to ask, when you said the stamp duty needs to be paid as we used to pay like POA. Now POA ka franking was being done on each paper where the client has wet signed. So here it will be collective payment or it will be client to client payment.
I couldn't got you. Client to client means you are saying that DDPI will be separate and POA will be separate. That way?
No. I am telling when I was getting a POA ka franking done for each client 500 rupees or whatever is applicable was being paid. We were franking or we were using the stamp paper, correct?
Correct.
So that was client wise denomination. Now for DDPI, will it be the same as client wise denomination?
Yes.
Or I can pay together?
No, it will be similar like power of attorney. It will be client wise denomination.
So I have to keep as individual stamp paper attached to the
correct
form.
Yes, correct.
Achha, here it is also mentioned that the CM is also to sign the DDPI form along with the sign, client sign, correct? Is my understanding right?
Yes.
So now how it will be happen, because DDPI will be part of the form because it is getting e-signed, and how the CM should get himself e-signed on that particular form.
So this currently for power of attorney also you would be doing it, correct?
That is a physical signature, na? One-to-one signature it is happening, na? Physical signature है. तो क्लाइंट ने साइन किया, उसके साथ साथ सीएम ने भी साइन कर लिया, तो वो एग्जीक्यूशन और एक्सेप्टेंस दोनों साथ में होता है, करेक्ट? बट देन हियर इट इज गोइंग टू बी डिजिटल.
So here CM can also sign digitally.
So that is mandatory, right?
Yes. Both signatures will be mandatory.
And the changes in the UCC DPM will be showed later on. You mentioned that EDIS and DDPI will work together. Can you just elaborate how that will happen?
No, so query was that client has already given a DDPI and he wants to perform the transaction through EDIS also. So those both will continue.
Okay, because in the case of POA, once POA is executed, EDIS was not allowed.
Yeah, this is Vency here from CDSL. There's been no restriction of this nature that if you're giving a POA, you cannot give EDIS, because EDIS by the virtue of that product is nothing but your digital copy of the DIS. So a POA holder can always give a slip from the DIS booklet. So that has never been disallowed.
Okay.
If the DP is choosing to disallow it as an operational control, that's a different part. But at depository level, we have never disallowed it.
Okay.
I have a question.
So your audio is, please check your audio connection.
Yeah, can I hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question that both these documents, as far as I understand, the POA and the DDPI are voluntary documents. Right? They are voluntary documents. The client can choose not to sign them, right? Can you hear me?
Ashwanji, your audio is not proper. Pooja ji, your question, please. Mithil ji, your question.
Yeah, so I just want to ask, like, first of all, as you said, it is a replacement of a POA basically. So there are some so first of all, like, is it necessary for non-POA account holder which will get opened post 1st July? Is it compulsory, the DDPI thing, for non-POA account holders which will be opened through digital platform like eKYC?
No, DDPI is not a mandatory thing.
Okay, okay.
Like
So
how for power of attorney also it is not a mandatory. Similarly, DDPI is also not a mandatory. But in power of attorney, there were 4 points were getting covered. Out of those 4 points, 2 points are part of DDPI, and those needs to be performed through DDPI for the accounts opened after 1st July 2022.
so those accounts, if it will be a non-payer account, then as well, like we have to opt for DDPI. Suppose I have opened account post 1st July and it is a non-payer account and I want to do a margin pledge, let's say. So is DDPI compulsory in that case, or
No.
it can be done like without DDPI?
Without DDPI, it can be done.
Okay, so in that way, basically, it's not compulsory for margin pledge or settlement, security settlement, which are part of the DDPI through DDPI, which can be done. Like it can be done like without DDPI for non-POA clients, like by way of EDIS for security settlement and margin pledge as it is, like which is working right now through CDSL API. Am I correct?
Correct. So EDIS and physical DIS, both option will be still available for the clients if they doesn't want to give DDPI or power of attorney, anything they don't want to give.
Okay. Another question is, see, earlier like POA form was like franking was done with the client. Okay. So in that, like there were a lot of things which stockbrokers and depository were mentioning, like, you know, if there is any kind of a square off or with related to like recovery of the debits, that clause was mentioned here. So how to handle such clauses if POA will not be there?
So those you can put as a part of voluntary document or your risk disclosure document, whatever would be there addition to that account opening form. Okay.
Okay, so you mean to say like, you know, we can send margin calls and like everything like by way of digital communication or we can mention it risk disclosure form as well as in risk policy. Am I correct?
Yes. So in your risk disclosure form, which will be signed by client, there you can mention, and in your risk management policy also you have to mention.
Nilesh, you can incorporate the same in your policy and procedure, which cover that selling of stock in case of not clear the debits or other things, because policy and procedure is there.
From depository perspective, it won't get covered over here.
Okay, okay. Another thing like which was there, like you said like only 2 transactions are being allowed, like margin pledge and security settlement, if I'm correct. So how to do like the transactions which are not covered, which were covered in POA, like MF, OFS, tender offer, like how to do those transactions, how to like proceed?
For those transactions, you have to get the power of attorney or physical DIS or EDIS.
Okay, okay. Physical DIS or EDIS or power of attorney.
Yes.
Okay, so power of attorney can be taken for those transactions.
Correct.
Okay, okay. Thanks.
Ajay ji, your question, please.
Hi, my question was that, what was the legal view on, document to be stamped and to be signed digitally? Because earlier there was no clause wherein we can sign the POA digitally. I mean, what is the legal view on this? Just wanted to know. Since we have added that DDPI can be signed digitally. So, and this is going to be frank. So if the franking is on the digital mode, everything is on digital mode. So what is the legal view on this?
Yes, so SEBI has given as a part of the circular.
Okay.
And that's why it is getting covered over there. And if you will refer their circular, so they have mentioned that this has to be adequately signed and digitally, or adequately stamped and digitally signed.
Okay, sir. So my question was that suppose after 1st of July, any client comes to me and saying I will sign the POA digitally, will that be acceptable along with the DDPI? Because POA is not the POA.
For POA, wet signatures are required, and for DDPI, you can use the digitally signed, e-signed, or wet signature.
Sir, my question is that, see, why there is a difference? If there would be a same thing, it will be easy for broker to get everything from the client. I mean, there should be a uniformity. If you are taking a signature as a digitally on DDPI, same should be on the POA also. It is my request as an because there will be easy for everyone.
See, as a part of this SEBI circular, they have allowed only DDPI to be signed with digital or e-signature. Wet signature is always available, so you can get both the DDPI or power of attorney signed with wet signature also.
Okay, sir. My another question: since we need to execute the POA as well as DDPI, considering the transaction, so we need to pay the separate fees for each of the documents. Like for DDPI, separate filing.
Yes.
No, but sir, why there won't be a single document which covers the one stamp duty and it will cover everything? So why there is a different stamp duty to be paid? Just a question. Like what SEBI is thinking on that? Why to pay a separate stamp duty for each document? If there will be a one stamp duty which covers all the documents like POA plus DDPI. Just a question from my side.
Yeah, so currently it is allowed to pay a separate stamp duty, and mainly SEBI is thinking that DDPI will be applicable for all market type market transactions. So that's why they are thinking that suppose majority of accounts will open only with DDPI.
Now I agree, sir. But if I collect the POA plus DDPI, there are two documents. I will frank only one part. I mean, which is on the first part. I'll say first annexure 1 is POA, annexure 2 is DDPI, and I frank only on that first page. Will that be allowed as per SEBI?
No, it won't be allowed.
Okay.
You have to frank it
separately.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sharmili ji, your question, please.
Yeah. See, the thing is that DDPI, there are two clauses, and the clauses, remaining clauses which are part of POA. My question is whether that POA clauses can be included in the voluntary clauses.
So you are saying that in a circular annexure A, two clauses are there given. So there only you want to add other clauses.
No. See, the DDPI clauses, there are two clauses in DDPI that we will do. But other than the DDPI clauses,
yes,
which are part of POA, okay, whether that clauses can be a part of the voluntary clauses in the account opening form.
Yes, so that I
Is there
had
no
answered.
question of?
If it is a risk related or something, then you can put it separately in your account opening.
I'm talking about the two other than these two clauses. DDPI में जो आते हैं settlement obligation and margin pledge. So other than these clauses which are part of POA में है सब clauses.
No, those you can't merge over.
We cannot take into the voluntary clauses.
No. Then you have to again get the POA signed on.
So POA is required only for
other clauses. Yeah. Other than these two type of transactions, if you have to perform, say, mutual fund or open offer or any fund related transactions, then you have to get the power of attorney signed.
Okay.
Akshay ji, your question, please. Irfan ji, your question.
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, see, I just wanted to highlight that we were expecting this process to be simplified, but now we feel that it's now more complicated. So earlier, see, we had a POA, so we were expecting the POA will go away and there will be a simple DDPI instruction which can be part of account opening and we can execute things. So now, multiple things have come up and now again we have to do stamping also, which has also not been removed. So can you update on what is the standpoint on all these things like?
So the other alternatives are that EDIS and block mechanism, all those are available.
That is all there, but I feel it's a limited purpose debit. So this should have been simplified and stamping should have been removed.
No, but stamping is required for DDPI.
One more question is, if stamping is required, we can see that in POA there's a requirement like if there's limited purpose POA, the limited purpose thing, so we can pay lower stamp duty, right?
So those whatever will be applicable as from stamp duty perspective, whatever you are paying for POA, the same will be applicable for DDPI also.
My question was that POA is for the overall things. Like now, this is the limited purpose. DDPI is for limited purpose things. So
correct.
Stamp duty should be on the lower side.
No, it is not like that. It is a state-wise, and it will be continued as it is.
All right. Okay.
Pranavji, your question?
Hi, sir. Sir, I just want to continue with the previous question. That stamp duty which currently I am paying on power of attorney, it same will be applicable for DDPI also, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my second question is, what about if any account is open till 30th June without power of attorney, then if client comes to me and giving me power of attorney, then by that time I also have to take DDPI for his normal market related transaction.
Yes, that time you have to take DDPI also. Suppose one account is open today, it is without power of attorney, and at later stage after 1st July, client is coming back and he is saying that he want to perform the transaction through power of attorney DDPI. So that time you have to take DDPI. And if other type of transactions which are not getting covered in these two type of transactions, if client want to perform, then you have to take DDPI and power of attorney.
Fine. Means if I want to obtain free things to client to each and every transaction, then DDPI and POA I need to collect both. Client can give either DDPI or POA, but for all transaction he needs to give power of attorney as well as DDPI, even though his account is open today or after 30th June, sorry. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Sir, I mean, can you people are thinking about, like in DDPI, we can take Esign of client, right? So, sir, I mean, we can think about same for power of attorney also. If one thing can happen, then another thing, it can be also happen.
So from legal side, there are restrictions. So power of attorney, it is not getting. And power of attorney, actually, it is not only for stock market purpose. That terms is used widely for other type of transactions also.
Sir, agreed. But our purview or, for the transaction which we are obtaining, that is quite a lesser. I mean, maximum 4 to 5 type of transaction for which we are obtaining power of attorney. So in that case, if client can take Esign, we can take Esign of, client can digitally sign the whole agreement of account opening form, then I feel POA can also be done.
No, that as of now, it is not available.
Okay. Sir, can I just take an e-sign of client in DDPI form and keep the physical stamp paper to can it be considered? DDPI form is in a e-sign form, and I am obtaining physical stamp paper before executing that thing.
Yes, so for digital signature you can do that, correct?
Fine. I can separately kept the stamp paper for DDPI if that document is digitally signed.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank
you. NJ team, your question, please. NJ team. Sabita ji, your question.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please.
So is it mandatory that we need to obtain POA and DDPI from the clients? Because if the client is the points which are not covered in DDPI, then we have to obtain the POA from the client, right? So both these documents are mandatory.
Correct. So it depends on the type of transactions which client want to perform. If he want to perform only these two type of transactions, then you can continue with DDPI only. If he want to perform other type of transactions, then you may have to get the power of attorney, or he can continue with DDPI and optional EDIS or physical DIS also.
But for existing clients, is it mandatory that we should obtain DDPI from them?
No, existing clients which are opened up to 30th June, For them, power of attorney is allowed, and on that basis, the transactions will continue after 1st July also.
DDPI is not mandatory for the existing clients.
Correct.
Hello?
Yes, correct.
DDPI is not mandatory, no, sir, for existing
No,
clients. For only
no, for existing client, it is not mandatory. Hello.
Amita ji, your question, please. Mehul ji, your question.
सर आपका जो पॉइंट लिखा हुआ है कि एक्सचेंज रिलेटेड जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन रहेंगे वो हम लोग डीडीपी से कर सकेंगे, इज इट राइट?
यस, करेक्ट।
तो जो मैं म्यूचुअल फंड भी बेच रहा हूँ वो भी तो मेरा बीएससी का जो स्टार एमएफ है उसी में वो भी एक्सचेंज का ही है ना, तो फिर म्यूचुअल फंड क्यों अलाउड नहीं हो रहा है मुझे?
No, but those are not allowed. As SEBI has already clearly defined that whatever points are getting in 1.2.3 and fund related transaction, that is a point.
This is also fund related transaction. Mutual fund is there. We have to perform the trade. We have to make the trade in the star MF segment only. It's a exchange segment only. Then why not allowed? And for the purpose of buyback also, the broker has to put the trades on the exchange platform.
Correct, but SEBI has defined only these two type of transactions.
Then
and
why
those
this is so much difference? That also is market related trade only.
But those two are also applicable after comparing the client's obligation, which will be provided by CC. Clearing corporations.
Because of that mutual funds, this is different. These are not allowed.
Yes.
Nilesh bhai, your question, please. Nilesh ji Mehta.
Yeah. My question was how depository system would identify the DDPI flag and the POA flag. Is they are going to change the flagging into the POA?
Yes, those changes we are finalizing, and that will be intimated to you through separate circular. So we will release the file format changes and whatever operational modalities will be there.
Okay.
Based on that, it will be identified.
Okay. And on behalf of all participants, likely all were saying that mutual fund transactions and buyback and tender offers are not allowed through DDPI route. So can BBF make a representation to SEBI to add those, because it would be easier for all of us to contain with Ddpi digital signed document. So I would request if someone can take it forward to SEBI to include mutual fund transactions and buyback tender offers as well.
So Visti, you can just check it.
Hello, Nilesh, can you hear me? Yes, Nilesh, yes, we can take it off the topic, and then we can discuss on the same, and we can internally take it over, please.
Yeah, because it would be easier for all of us to continue with one document DDPI.
So you can connect to me accordingly, and we can take it forward from there, please.
Sure.
Anything else, Nilesh ji?
No. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Praful ji, your question. Praful ji Mehta. Manish ji, your question.
So one thing was that DDPI document can be e-signed. So what will happen is, if the client is coming through a DIY journey where he's opening an account himself, then it will be e-signed. And how we will do the franking, because post the e-signature, how it is not possible to do the franking, no, in that case of the document. It will not be legally possible, no. It will not be, I mean, it is a void document, no, in that case.
Yeah, so there you have to look that e-stamping option before client is e-signing.
E-stamping option. Okay. And another point was that, sir, are you going to issue the new format for this, or we have to prepare the document basis the SEBI circular, or CDSL will issue the new format for this?
We will be providing one basic format so that you can use.
And third point was that
basis on the SEBI circular only.
okay. Third thing was that someone was saying that it has to be signed by the clearing member also. But I think in the circular nowhere is mentioned. So today POA is being signed by the DPs also for the brokers. So here can we use the e-signature of the client, and then when the client has signed it, that suffice, or we also have to do certain kind of a signature on the document, sir?
You have to also put your signatures over there.
But our signatures can be e-signed then in that case.
Yeah. Yes.
Or digitally signed, but nowhere I think it's nowhere mentioned, no, in the circular, SEBI circular. Yeah.
Nilesh bhai, we cannot hear you. Yes.
Separately, it is not mentioned, but whatever POA formalities are there, the same are applicable. That way they have mentioned. So that's why.
So then witness signature is also there in the POA. Then it is not possible to take the witness, no, on the document then, sir.
No, so witness is not required because they have put that signature of the client. That way only they have put. So that we will not insist for this DDPI.
So we will also have to sign the document then.
Yes.
And the accounts details also to put it on the document.
Correct.
How we are putting in the POA today then.
Correct. And this will be used only for pool account. It won't
so one more thing, yes. So today we have one PUSA account and one we have pool account. So only these two account details we will mention, because we will be we will be picking the shares from the client Demat account or from the PUSA account.
So from client Demat account, you will be always taking in the pool account only, correct?
Correct.
PUSA account you will be transferring always from pool account only.
Yes. So only pool will come in that.
PUSA account is not required in this.
Only the pool account we will have to mention.
Yes.
Both of NSE and BSC.
Yes, that is correct.
NSDL and CDSL. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Sabita ji, your question? Priti ji, your question?
Yeah, I think it is answered with the e-stamping one.
Okay. Asrani ji, your question? Samsung SM, your question, please. Mithil ji, your question, please.
Yeah, so just confused with the franking thing, like which happens for the PO accounts, like in like you said e-stamping as well. So is online franking is physical franking and e-stamping is the same thing, or it's different? Like for POA. So can franking be done like online? I mean, whether we will.
Yes, those options are available.
Okay, so if we want to open account digitally, you mean to say e-franking? E-stamping will be considered as a franking. I mean, it's
Yes,
franking
yes.
only.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Shivji, your question, please.
Sir, I want to know, actually, we are using POA for all these things, but we are not executing the transactions for OFS, regarding OFS. If a client want to participate in OFS, and we actually, what we use, how we do it, we take the instruction slip from the client and execute the transaction. Can we execute this transaction with the help of Ddpi?
So on the basis of DDPI, settlement transaction and margin transaction can be performed. Now for OFS, if client is giving a separate physical DIS or EDIS, then you can do it.
Without DIS, is there any option?
EDIS is there, na? That is the option.
No, without DIS or EDIS? Because many brokers are executing this transaction over the phone actually. So how they are doing? We are very much confused.
No, that can't be done.
That can't be done, na? So how other brokers are doing this? Is there any other option, any other thing?
Till now, power of attorney was allowed. So if in their power of attorney, if they have covered it, then they might be doing those type of transactions.
Okay, okay. But in the DDPI module, we cannot do this.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Prafulji, your question, please. Mr. Praful Mehta. A question from Anand Rathi Group.
Do we need to make any changes in power of attorney?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. So
Yes, sir.
in power of attorney, if these 2 points you have mentioned, then if you want to exclude, you can exclude it, because anyway after 1st July it won't be valid.
No, I'm not getting. If these 2 points are covered in power of attorney, then it is valid, right?
Yes. So then you can exclude these 2 points from the power of attorney, because anyway after 1st July it won't be valid in power of attorney.
Praful Mehta ji, your question.
Yeah, whether DDPI can be used for like EPI benefit before sale transaction is done by the customer, early paying.
Yeah, this is Vensi from CDSL. Your DDPI or EDIS, whichever way you look at it, is covering the transactions you permit in that this what you call approval. The
But
authorization.
I need to do early paying before the sale is effected to get the margin benefit. ताकि वो zero हो जाएगा. So will DDPI
That is
help
always
me in
allowed.
that?
No, even today, repaying of securities is still permitted today also.
Okay, so I can do that. I can do that, right?
Yes.
Nilesh ji.
Hello.
Nilesh ji, you are there?
Hello.
Yeah, 1 second. I think so. Nilesh ji.
Yes.
Nilesh sir, you are there?
Yes, I am there.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, question from Anand Rathi Group.
Can we use EDS?
1 second.
One second. Sorry.
I haven't
Praful ji,
completed
Praful bhai, can you ask your question again so Nilesh ji can reply, please?
Yeah. My question is answered. I got one more question. My first question was whether DDPI can be used for EPI before sale. So it was answered not by Mr. Nilesh, but some other officer had answered.
Yes, Vensi is there.
So so it is taken as yes. And my second question is like the existing client. The client was opened the account today and wants to give like after 1st July, will have to give both POA as well as DDPI, right? If he wants to utilize the POA for MF transaction and buyback offer purposes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Anand Rathi ji, Anand Rathi Group question, please.
Yeah. Can we, if DDPI cannot use for buyback, can we use EDS for the buyback?
Yes.
And second thing, it is required to inform about the DDPI to all the existing client.
You can inform if they want to give, you can take. As of now, it is not mandatory for existing client.
There is no required to send any intimation about this DDPI facility.
Yes, as of now, it is not mandatory. If you want to inform it, you can inform. Otherwise, it is not mandatory.
Okay. Thank you.
Sandeep ji, your question.
Yeah. Hi.
Yes.
Actually, I joined little late, so I had 3 things to ask. First thing is that so stamping is required state-wise, correct?
Yes.
I was in the notion that it can be procured from a single location, but it has to be from state-wise, correct?
Correct.
And the second thing is that e-stamping facility is there, because in some of the many states, all the forms are being corrected physically. So I just
that can be utilized.
E-stamping is utilized. Okay. Acha, and third thing was that I am from Edelweiss, so in our company there was some risk litigations and other things where we did not want to share our customers' data to the vendors, outside vendors. So can the DDPI be implemented in-house?
No, so where you will be sharing but data?
Matlab to the other outside, we will be outsourcing the vendors who will be matlab who will be making this DDPI facility for us in the account opening journey. So I just wanted to know that whether we can do this in-house or we can include this
That
in
call
our
is
account.
up to you. Now, I don't know what agreements you have with your vendor and whatever functionalities you are doing it. That will be remain with you, that whether you want to
Okay,
share it or you.
so we can this DDPI can be done internal in-house can be taken care of.
It can be done in-house or whatever your this agreements and terms and conditions are.
Okay. Thank you.
Shreya Gandhi, hello.
Yes. Sir, this is Neeraj from Motilal Oswal.
Right.
Sir, this SEBI circular which came on power of attorney earlier in 2010, that circular was saying that this circular, this power of attorney is a voluntary document. Whosoever wish to take, then they have to produce so and so clauses in the power of attorney. So, but on the premises that this itself is a voluntary document. So what we are saying, sir, except for DDPI, the other clauses which are mentioned of the power of attorney, since I'm not going to take power of attorney, I'll put these clauses in the voluntary document. Since SEBI itself is saying that power of attorney itself is a voluntary document.
Sir, power of attorney as well as DDPI, both are voluntary document only. And if client want to provide power of attorney or DDPI, he can provide. Otherwise, we can open account without power of attorney or without DDPI also. There are no restrictions to open the account. Second is that if you want to use this DDPI, then client can sign and provide. If he doesn't want, then he can go through EDIS or physical DIS route also.
Right, sir. But I agree to your point. Client is ready to give the DDPI, but for the remaining clauses of POA, especially with respect to application of mutual fund right issues, so those clauses I'll take into voluntary clauses.
No, those if you are debiting client in account or something, then you will require power of attorney, because on only basis.
Sir, can you is it okay, sir, if you can again verify this point, because this will solve the industry level problem, sir?
No, so that earlier someone has already told that this type of can be discussed separately, correct?
Okay, sir. Fine. Thank you.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I have two questions. Firstly, for stamping purpose, what category does the DDPI fall? Is it a POA? Is it indemnity? Is it an affidavit? Because for each category of document, there is different rate of stamping. That also at state level. So what exactly is this document?
It will fall in the category of power of attorney. Currently, whatever rates you are using for power of attorney, the same needs to be used for DDPI also.
Okay, thank you. One more question regards matching of UCC details against the transaction with effect from 1st July. What happens to accounts where UCC details are still blank in BO account? Because we have observed so many accounts which are being opened where exchange says they have sent the details to CDSL and it is accepted at CDSL, but the UCC details are still not updated at in the account. So how do we plug this problem?
Currently, majority of UCC details are updated, correct? Only
No,
suppose
Sir, I'm having 1200 accounts which are still not, which are having blank UCC data. And my letters, my mails to exchanges are still not attended by them.
No, that actually any UCC linkage is based on the PAN, and if those feeds don't come to the depository, then it is a challenge for us.
No, in fact, exchange itself has told ki we have given today. I have sent two client data where they have said ki we have sent the data to the to CDSL, but the UCC details are blank.
No, that's right. So that's what we said. Where there are PAN mismatches, it will not link. So we'll look at those cases separately, but it is not the case that depository is not linking it. If it's not rejecting the mapping, it will reject.
No, it is not. They have even said ki the UCC data is accepted at CDSL level.
No, so we'll check it because that may be incorrect status you're getting.
So, but then whom do I send the data to? To CDSL or exchange? Exchange is saying they have sent it to you. You're saying ki you all have not received. Obviously, it may have not been received. That is why it is not updated at your end.
Correct. I think this is a discussion for a separate time. Right now, in case of context of Ddpi, we'll look at the query.
No,
UCC
because
will
you're
take it
saying you're
separately.
matching the transaction from 1st July onwards, right?
That is done even today without the Ddpi. We are matching the transaction today also. Wherever UCC is there, those transactions are matched. That is an outcome of EDIS.
Yeah, in EDIs, but now that POA instructions, if it is given, it is not matched, right? Presently.
Wherever you are having any transactions which are not with UCC, those are not matched.
Anyway, whom do I speak to at your place? I mean, I've tried, I had put this problem earlier also, but there was no response from help desk.
No, we'll take it up with the help desk team. Actually, we work in close coordination with that team only. We'll check with the team as to where this UCC linkage is becoming an issue. But this wouldn't have an impact on the Ddpi.
No, this has not got anything to do with Ddpi. It has got something to do with the UCC matching. That's why.
That we'll discuss it with our team separately, ma'am. If you marked it to help desk, we'll take that communication from them and clear it.
Okay, I'll resend the mail to help desk with the details of the accounts.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
As we just
spoke, I am Preeti here.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, please.
We just spoke some time back that stamp duty will be applicable as it is applicable for the POA. But just some time back, some person who spoke, he said state-wise it will be applicable. It is applicable where the execution happens by the CM, right?
Yes, so for POA also we are doing the same thing, correct?
State-wise?
Wherever registered office is.
Yeah, the registered office is, if it is my registered office is in Mumbai, I will execute as per the stamp duty rates of Mumbai.
Yes.
So it is like that, not as per the client state or something, right?
Correct. No.
Okay.
Somebody having office in Chennai or Delhi, then those rates will be applicable.
Correct. It is the same way. Okay.
Manaji, your question, please.
My question with Nilesh Saji only, that we are also actively trading in mutual fund. So trading through BSC star MF only. So whatever units we are redeeming, now it is going to the settlement account, settlement number only for mutual fund case. So please include that mutual fund also in Ddpi. Otherwise, we have to take separate power of attorney from client and another separate stamp paper from for Ddpi.
Correct, sir. But as of now, this SEBI circular says that those type of transactions are not allowed in Ddpi. So that's why we couldn't accommodate it.
But sir, in that your slides also showing that it is settlement oriented only. So, but in mutual fund also, it is settlement oriented only.
Correct, but in SEBI circular, if you will see, they have clearly specified 1.2.3, where these mutual fund or this buyback related transactions are there. Those are not allowed.
Sir, but in one point, mutual fund is not mentioned out there.
It is there na in the circular. You can refer
नहीं है
the,
sir.
you can refer
1.2
point number, you can refer point number 1.2.3 where they have mentioned for the limited purpose as specified in paragraph 1, 3 and 2 of the enclosure to POA guideline 2010. And in POA guideline 2010, if you will refer the 1, 3, then they have clearly mentioned mutual fund, open offer, those type of transactions they have already mentioned.
Okay. Another thing, sir, for stamp paper and all, because in West Bengal, e-stamping is not allowed. So how will execute for digital sign?
Then you can take the wet signature and this physical stamp paper. How currently you are doing?
No, we can use that image of stamp paper by putting the serial number duly signed, e-signed by client, and we can collate that stamp paper with whatever physical stamp paper that will allow.
No, image, how you can correlate?
Huh? Yes, sir.
No, image you won't be able to correlate with it. So currently in power of attorney, what you are doing, the similar functionality you can apply over here also. If e-stamping is not allowed.
Oh.
Mithilji, your question, please. Mithilji.
Sorry, I think by mistake I do not have.
No problem. No problem. Pooja, your question, please. Mehulji. Yeah, Pooja. Yes.
DDPI should be on the DDPI should be on the only on the stamp paper.
Yes, DDPI should be on the stamp paper.
For 100, right?
Yeah, that we have told na, that it will be state-wise wherever your registered office
It will be
is
a
located.
state one. Okay, okay, and that should be franking also, na?
Correct.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
Nilesh
yes.
bhai? Yes.
DDPI should be franking also.
Yes, it can, either it can be on stamp paper or it can be franked.
Okay, okay, sure. Thank you.
Mehul bhai, your question, please.
Sir, PD transaction can be done through DDP? Physical delivery transaction?
Physical delivery transaction which are getting
F&O.
converted from F&O.
Yes.
So their settlement obligation will be there, so it can be done.
It can be done. Or we can make the changes in POA and DDP, and we put both the documents in a single page, and we can franking on the single as a single document. It is possible or not?
No, sir, it won't be possible.
We can sign both the documents.
I got your point that you are saying that DDPI clauses you will put in your power of attorney document, and
Yeah.
then you can get it signed. But that
Because both are voluntary document, then why not possible in a single document it is?
because DDPI is separately given for this market transactions only.
Okay, no, we can sign both the part, no? For DDP first part, and for the POA, for the mutual funds and other related buyback, OFS related, the second part we can sign, no?
No, sir. Both the signature on both the documents, separate signatures will be required.
Signature will be separate. Why both the documents are separate? It is not compulsory both the documents can be separate, no?
So you will term the document, correct? Power of attorney and DDPI.
Yeah, both are voluntary document.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
if
so
I take it on a single page, then there is a possibility, no? So on a
It is
single
not a
stamping,
franking.
in a single stamping, we can do the things.
No, sir, it won't be there. You have to put
Hello?
it separately. You have to put it separately only. Because otherwise, where you will consider it won't be considered as a DDPI also and power of attorney also.
Yeah, because if I am doing both the things, I am also doing mutual fund, my client is also giving buyback and everything, and both the things are included in one page also, no?
No, sir. Here it will be separately only. You can refer the clause number 6.
The registry shall continue to remain valid till the time the client revokes the same.
Yeah, so there they have mentioned that separate para also they have given. POA or DDPI. They are not mentioning POA and DDPI also.
But if you are saying that from 1st July, POA will not be executable for the market related trade and pledge, market pledge.
Correct.
Pledge related. Then there should be a separate, both are voluntary. We can put this voluntary document in a 2-part on a single page. And we will sign it. It should be signed by the both the signed by the client only.
If you are doing stamping for both the separately, then it will be allowed. Otherwise, it won't. Stamping and signature both are.
And on DDP, broker has to sign.
Yes, that was already discussed. Correct.
But it is not mentioned in the SEBI circular.
Yes, but like how we are signing power of attorney, the similar way here also sign has to be placed.
If a client has given digitally signed DDP and broker is signing physically, then it is okay.
Ideally, it should be signed digitally only, because both the parties are interacting digitally.
Akshay ji, your question, please. Akshay ji, there's a screen name B. B, can you ask your question, please? Hello. Mithil ji, your question, please.
Yeah, yes, sir. So my question was like regarding e-stamping only. So as I came to know, like with this discussion, that from the registered company office, like from that place, like if it is a Mumbai, let's say from Mumbai only, we have to do all franking and everything. But in case of e-stamping, how does the, I mean, it meet the criteria of location basically, if it is online, like e-stamping is online.
See, either it is a physical stamp paper or e-stamping. Both are same on.
But physical stamp paper, I understood, like physical franking. But how, like
OTP 732.
If that is the criteria, like suppose like what I know, like as the at maybe at south side, like the cost is lower for or for all those things, like for stamping, or you can say franking. Basically, franking is the better word. So cost is which is lesser. So majority of the like companies do from there. So whether it is valid, whether it is legally valid or not.
If your registered office is located in those states, then it will be valid.
Okay, otherwise it won't be a valid thing, you mean to say. Okay, so how the e-stamping capture the location? Basically, my question is that if like if online this thing is being done.
I am not sure about this because I haven't checked e-stamping.
How it validates, like if it is online facility? That is my actually question.
Yeah, so that I am not sure that how it works. That maybe some banks or some entities would be providing those functionalities. So you need
Okay,
to check
okay.
with them.
Okay, okay. Thanks.
Any more questions, Mithil? Hello?
No, sir. No, sir.
Oh, thank you. Samsung SM, screen name, your question, please. Samsung SM. Ddpi, thank you for solving a lot of queries. Members, if you still have any more queries, we can still take some questions. Please raise your virtual hand for needful. Samsung SM, screen name, your question, please. Screen name B, your question, please. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. I'm Bhavesh Shah. I'm from MK Global.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I have most of my queries have been resolved. I have two queries more. With respect to a matching of obligations. Suppose a client has sold 200 shares in a settlement, and his obligation is suppose he has 100 shares in his account and he has sold 100 only, but as a broker or as a DP, I have given 200 instruction. So how that will go? It will be the whole 200 instruction will go, or the partial will be taken care. I hope my query is understood.
So you are saying that only partial quantity are available, correct?
If I have given, yeah, partial quantity is available, but whereas I have given the obligation is only for 100, where I have given the obligation for 200. So it will the whole 200 instruction will may fail, or if the partial instruction will go through.
Partial instruction will go through.
Okay, and this pain will be a client level pain, right? Currently, what is happening, like
yes, it is client level.
Okay. And sir, we have to add in the rights and obligation the voluntary clause and the separate consent form. We also will have to take it, right? That's. Please correct me if I'm wrong, sir.
Yes. So in voluntary document also you have to provide.
Okay. And so one request is that if you can just provide this technical aspect of these registration of Ddpi and POA separately and revoke and everything as early as possible, because there are a lot of other compliance also falling on 1st of July. So we can just talk with vendor and get it done, sir.
Yes, we were trying for that.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Query from Samsung SM, your question, please. So Nilesh, coming to the end, we have cleared a lot of questions and doubts for our members. Still, we can take one more query. Sandeep ji, your question, please.
Yes, sir. How the file format will appear?
So that we will inform through Communic, because we are also finalizing it.
Right. And is there any differentiate between the POA transactions and Ddpi transactions which has happened in the transaction file, like DP57 or DPC9 of pool account or principal account?
Yeah, so that will also get. It will also get covered in part of this our Communic only.
Okay.
Those all in master level changes as well as transaction level changes. Those both we are finalizing it.
Okay. And just now one gentleman had asked that partial paying is allowed. Suppose client has obligation of 200 shares. Can he deliver 100 shares?
Yes, this is on the DI.
Allowed, no?
Yes,
it is allowed.
But client level obligation should be there from CC.
Yeah, so it means suppose client का transactions आज exchange platform पे अभी तक हुआ नहीं है और उसको early pay करना है to get the margin benefit. So he can do that during trading hours.
This is when here early pay so is all or none. You can't have partial quantity there even during trading hours.
Yeah,
so
just now, currently people are doing, all the brokers are doing.
Currently, majority of the transactions are going as early pay. You're right. But in case you're doing a part pay or you have a partial balance, your client obligation should be a client BO obligation. That is a BO level pay which we have here. and based on that, it will be matched and taken at the payment date.
Okay. And suppose if a client choose the block mechanisms, then he can do that block mechanism apart from DDPI transactions.
See, I think what is the concept here is block is only for any early payment transfer, whether it's with UCC, without UCC. That is as per our circular we gave some time back. So that is distinct from your DBP. You are talking about early payment in that context.
Okay. But that margin place mechanism is not part of the block mechanism. So without DDPI, is it possible for the new clients?
We were talking purely from your transaction perspective. DDPI covers both. Pay-in transactions which you are referring to are a type of pay-in which is early pay-in, which is permitted under DDPI. But the point is, early pay-in is permitted either with the block. Any early pay-in is blocked basically with or without UCC. Margin pledge is a different context. You don't have blocking there. It is basically
Okay. नहीं suppose client अगर DDPI नहीं देता है तो क्या करने का वो केस में for margin pledge transactions?
You can take physical instructions.
Then we have to follow physical instruction type of method.
Or EDI.
Or
EDI, yes.
EDS for the settlement transactions.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Satyaji, your question, please. So, Nilesh, thank you once again for solving a lot of queries today and concerns what members have been doing. Some of the members have requested to share the PPT also. Before we conclude, Nilesh, would you like to pass a message to the members with regards to the current in terms of a summary or a conclusion, please?
Yes, so this is a good interactive seminar with all the members and participants. And we also get to know that there are some queries and even 2 or 3 queries are in our mind also. So those also we are resolving. Apart from that, there is a requirement for this file formats and operational modalities. So that we will be working and we will be providing as soon as possible.
That is wonderful, Nilesh bhai, and you please use our magazine, our platform, our BBF, our Google group, our website for passing such messages to our members. Today's session was indeed very helpful with a lot of members clarifying their doubts and operational and compliance modality. Before we conclude, I will request Chairman Mr. Lalitji Mundra to say a few words, please. Lalitji, over to you.
Thank you, Nilesh bhai. You have wonderfully answered all the questions. Some of them were repetitive in nature, but you have remained patient throughout the session. And I understand that 90% of the things are crystal clear and they need not be, may not require further clarifications. But still, for the benefit of the depository participants and our members, whenever you are coming out with a communique, further communique, you may also give us a FAQ based on the sessions which you are conducting in this manner. Those will be helpful. And wherever we think that there is a representation required for the benefit of members, we are ready as a BSE Brokers Forum. Like one of the most common observation and cost factor which we observe is that every depository participant or broker will incur double cost because DDPI will be required as well as POA also will be required for the transactions which are not covered in the DDPI. So maybe that is a cost which may be highlighted to SEBI if required. And thank you so much for the support. Thank you all the wonderful audiences. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Nilesh. Thank you, Lalitji. Thank you, members, for joining in today. Once again, we are very grateful for Nilesh bhai and team CDSL for sparing their time out and conducting this session. Thank you, members.